Hello students, Manjunath here from SGV's Mahesh PU College, Belgavi, and in this particular video we are going to discuss some of the important questions on the chapter that is human reproduction. Okay, let us discuss some of the important questions of NEET as well as AIIMS examination which may also appear for the CET. Right, coming to the first question, that is, in males or in male human beings, the scrotum maintains, okay, the scrotum maintains the temperature, okay, in male human beings the scrotum maintains the temperature. Option A, 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade higher than that of the normal body temperature. Option B, 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than normal body temperature. Option C, 4 degrees centigrade higher than normal body temperature, and option D, 4 degrees centigrade lower than that of normal body temperature. So here when you observe this particular question, see what they have asked. In case of male humans, the function of scrotum is, or the significance of scrotum is, you already know that the testes are placed inside the pouch like extension of the skin called as scrotum. This is scrotum, right? And why the testes are placed here? Because to maintain lower temperature than that of the body temperature, because the scrotum is going to act as what? The thermoregulatory structure of our body, right, which regulates lower temperature or which maintains lower temperature that is required for the normal growth and development of the sperms. And here in the first option they have given 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade higher temperature. So this is wrong, because the scrotum helps for maintaining lower temperature. So in the first option, okay, they have given higher temperature, that is why this one is wrong. As well as in the fourth option also they have given 4 degree higher temperature. This is also wrong. So the options are option B or option D. In these two the option is, or in these two the correct answer is. So ultimately here option B is the proper answer. Why? Because the testes are placed in the scrotum sac, and this scrotum sac helps for maintaining the lower temperature of what? 2 degrees centigrade to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than that of body temperature. Is that clear? Only it maintains somehow around 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade lower than that of body temperature, not maximum of 4 degrees centigrade like this, right? Coming to the next question, that is, identify the cells which provide nutrition to the germ cells. Identify the cells which provide nutrition to the germ cells. So first of all, the germ cell here means sperms, okay. For the sperms, the nutrition is provided by which particular cells? Option A, Leydig cell, option B, Sertoli cell, option C, spermatids, and option D, spermatocytes. You know that the spermatids and spermatocytes, option C and D can be deleted directly, because these themselves will be giving rise to what? The gamete, that is sperm. Okay, these are the developmental stages. That is why C and D are deleted. We are left with only these two cells, that is option A, Leydig cell, and option B, Sertoli cell. Out of these two, you know that the Leydig cells are also called as, see, the Leydig cells are also called as interstitial cells. Interstitial cells, and these interstitial cells will be helping out for what? Secretion of the androgen, that is male sex hormone. And ultimately who will be giving the nutrition? Okay, the Sertoli cells. The Sertoli cells will give the nutrition for the gametes or else germ cells. Clear? So that means the sperms are nourished by the particular cells called as Sertoli cells, which are found as large cells in the TS of seminiferous tubules. If you find the TS of seminiferous tubules, you can find the large cells which are called as Sertoli cells that help for maintaining what? The nutrition to the sperms. Right? Coming to the next question. Urethra in females, okay, urethra in females differs from male in being, okay. See, in case of males as well as females, if you observe the urinogenital system, actually we call it as urinogenital system, that is urinogenital system. It means here the urinary system as well as genital system both are combined. Okay, in case of the higher organisms, higher mammals or higher animals, what happens? The urinary as well as genital system will be combined because they will be having the common opening for release of urine as well as release of the gametes. In case of males, both gametes as well as the urine is passed out from the common opening, that is urethra. Right? This is the penis and this is the urethral opening. Right? Ultimately through this opening, what will happen? Both gametes as well as what? The urine will be passed. But in case of females, if you observe the external genitalia, there you can find, okay, the separate opening for both gametes as well as the urine. Okay, urethra will be there here to throw out what? The urine, and vaginal opening will be there. Okay, to throw out what? Or to accept the sperms as well as for the sexual intercourse. Right? So here the urethra is meant for, okay, here in case of females the urethra is meant for only what? The excretion, okay, not for the release of the gametes, because the gametes will be present inside and through the urethra male gamete will not enter, through the vaginal opening they will enter. That is why the urethra has got only one function, which is called, that is excretion. Right? Next question. Which of the following hypothalamic hormone stimulates the spermatogenesis at the age of puberty? Here they have particularly mentioned the hormone is of what? Hypothalamic. It means the hormone should be released by the hypothalamus. Right? I will read the question once again. See, which of the following hypothalamic hormone stimulates spermatogenesis at the age of puberty? That means at maturity, which particular hypothalamic hormone will be released that ultimately leads to the what? Spermatogenesis. Okay, particularly it should be secreted from what? Hypothalamus. So out of these, see here, only one hormone, that is GnRH, okay, is released by the hypothalamus. Gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, GnRH is the short form and the full form is gonadotropin hormone releasing hormone. Right? So that is released by whom? The hypothalamus, which stimulates the pituitary to release what? The gonadotropins. And you know the gonadotropins are nothing but what? In case of males, okay, the gonadotropins, that is FSH and LH again. Right? Those will be secreted, and for those secretion, the signal should come from the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus will give the signal by means of releasing the GnRH at the time of puberty. Clear? Coming to the next question. How many sperms are produced from one primary spermatocyte? Very simple question, and most importantly, this question is taken from, okay, the schematic representation of the gametogenesis or spermatogenesis. You know that. I'll just write the spermatogenesis schematic representation. Okay, this is spermatogonial cell, or you can call it as spermatogonium, and spermatogonium undergoes mitotic cell division to produce number of similar kinds of cells, and these are called as what? The spermatogonial cells again. And out of these, one particular cell, okay, will undergo first meiotic division. Okay, will undergo what? First meiotic division, that is meiosis 1. The cell which undergoes first meiotic division is called as primary spermatocyte. Okay, primary spermatocytes. Is that clear? Which undergoes first meiotic division. By means of undergoing meiotic division, what will happen? Two daughter cells are formed with haploid condition. Right? Haploid condition, because meiosis has been taken place, that leads to reductional type of cell division. Due to reductional type of cell division, what will happen? Two haploid cells will be formed, and these haploid cells are called as secondary spermatocyte. Okay, they are called as what? Secondary spermatocyte. And these secondary spermatocyte will further undergo meiotic division 2. Okay, meiosis 2, and ultimately form what? 4 haploid spermatids. 4 haploid spermatids, and these haploid spermatids will undergo transformation, that means change in their structure from spherical structure. Okay, I have taken the spermatids here, I have written the spermatids here, right? From the spherical structure they will undergo transformation and ultimately forms 4 motile sperms. Okay, 4 motile sperms. This is the schematic representation of spermatogenesis. Now let us go through the question. How many sperms, okay, how many sperms are produced from one primary spermatocyte? Okay, see here, one primary spermatocyte is there. From one primary spermatocyte, how many sperms are produced? By the end, ultimately 4 sperms are produced. The option is D. Based upon the same technique, they may ask you the questions in other ways also. Okay, see here, they may give whatever number. Say for example, 450 primary spermatocytes are there. They can produce how many number of sperms? Okay, you just have to multiply with 4. Is that clear? They may give, there are 450 secondary spermatocytes. How many sperms can be produced? Okay, it is multiplied by 2. If they give secondary spermatocyte, then you have to multiply by 2. If they give primary spermatocyte, you have to multiply with 4. And if they give the number of spermatozoa, okay, and ask for the number of primary spermatocyte, you have to divide it by 4. And if they ask for secondary spermatocyte, you have to divide it by 2. Right? So these are all the different types or methods of the questions that you may expect on this particular concept. Right? Let us go for the next one. See, this is another kind, okay, similar type of questions I have given. 50 primary spermatocyte give rise to, okay, how many primary spermatocytes are there? 50. So 50 primary spermatocyte will give rise to what? Option A, 200 primary spermatocytes or 200 spermatocytes. Option B, 50 spermatocytes. Option C, 200 spermatozoa. Option D, 50 spermatozoa. The word spermatozoa and sperm both are one and the same. Is that clear? And what they have given? 50 primary spermatocytes are there, and how many number of sperms can be produced? Just multiply it with 4, then you will get the answer, that is 200. The answer is option C, 200 spermatozoa. Okay, in the same way, if they ask in, okay, the reverse of the same question, there are 200 spermatozoa and these are produced by how many primary spermatocytes? Just divide it by 4, right? You will get the answer, right? Like this, they may give you the questions, right? Let us go with the next one. The lytic enzyme present in the semen is, okay, the lytic enzyme which is present in the semen is, lytic enzyme means what? It lyses or it breaks down, okay, the enzyme which breaks down, okay, that is present in the semen is option A, ligase, option B, estrogenase, option C, androgenase, option D, hyaluronidase, right? See, ligase is the enzyme which helps for attachment, okay, estrogen is the female sex hormone, next androgenase, okay, male sex hormone, but hyaluronidase is the answer here which help for what? Breakdown, okay, that is why the lytic enzyme present in the semen is hyaluronidase, not estrogenase, not androgenase, and not the ligase. Clear? Let us go with the next one. See, cryptorchidism, very important term which can be asked for even AIIMS examination. Okay, it is the previous AIIMS examination question that I have taken here. Cryptorchidism is a condition in which option A, testis does not descend into the scrotal sac. Option B, sperm is not motile. Option C, male hormones are reactive, not reactive. Option D, ovaries are removed. See, do remember, cryptorchidism is a condition in which, okay, in the baby's body, what will happen? The scrotal sac will be there like this, and During the course of development, testes will be developed in the lower abdominal region, and at the time of birth or else in the 8th or 9th month, what will happen? The testes will down, okay, they will come down to the scrotal sac. They will move to the scrotal sac. That is called as descending of the testes. If the testes are not descended into this particular scrotal sac, okay, in the 8th month of development, then they remain there itself inside the lower abdominal cavity. This will lead to what? Sterility in males, and the failure of descendant of testes is called as cryptorchidism. Okay, the failure of descending of the testes into the scrotal sac is called what? The cryptorchidism. Is that clear? So here the answer is option A. Testes does not descend into the scrotal sac. Okay, and all others are not the answers, right? Let us go for the next one. 10 oogonia yield, okay, 10 oogonia yield 10 primary oocytes. Okay, there are 10 oogonial cells which yield or which will produce 10 primary oocytes. And then how many ova are produced on completion of oogenesis? This question is based on the gametogenesis, particularly the oogenesis. Okay, in the previous questions we have solved the problems on the particular topic, that is spermatogenesis. Now the oogenesis, right? So let us draw, or I will just draw how exactly the oogenesis will be taking place, right? Oogenesis will be initiated by the oogonial cells, which will undergo what? The mitotic type of cell division. Okay, mitotic type of cell division to produce the daughter cells, n number of daughter cells again, and out of these one will undergo, okay, the meiosis. Okay, one will undergo meiosis, and the one which undergoes meiosis is called as primary oocyte. Okay, the one which undergoes meiosis, okay, or meiosis 1, it is called what? Primary oocyte. Primary oocyte undergoes meiosis to produce two unequal sized cells. Out of this, one is called as secondary oocyte, and the other one is called as polar body. Okay, it is called as polar body, that you know. And the secondary oocyte again will undergo unequal division and meiosis 2 to form what? Again the ootid and polar body. Right, ootid will ultimately develop into what? Ovum. Okay, ootid will ultimately develop into ovum. It means that from one primary oocyte, what will happen? Only one ovum will be produced. Yes, from one primary oocyte, only one ovum will be produced. Unlike the spermatogenesis, in the spermatogenesis what has happened? One primary spermatocyte have given rise to 4 sperms, but unlike the spermatogenesis, here what happens? One primary oocyte will give rise to only one ovum. So if there are 10 primary oocytes are there, they will give rise to 10 ova. So option is second one, that is 10. Option is B, that is 10. Clear? Next one. See, atretic follicle is, okay, atretic follicle. Okay, I'll just make you one point clear here is, at the time of birth in the female individual, around 60,000 to 80,000, okay, follicles will be present, or the primary oocytes will be present, and out of these all will not undergo what? The process of ovulation. Only around 400 to 450, okay, follicles will undergo, or the primary follicles will undergo ovulation, right? And what about others? Okay, the others will get degenerated. Okay, the other follicles will get degenerated, and the degenerated follicles are called as atretic follicles, and the process is called as follicular atresia. Do you remember? It is called as follicular atresia. Right, it is called as follicular atresia, and here atretic follicle is nothing but what? The degenerative follicles, right? Option A, let us go through the options. Option A, which are not developed completely and degenerate, right? Option B, another name of corpus luteum. Option C, which excluded its oocyte. Option D, none of the above. So here, as we already know by the definition itself, atretic follicles are what? The degenerated follicles, right? And the process is called follicular atresia. By this we can easily conclude atretic follicle is the one which are not developed completely and they get degenerated, right? So here option A is the proper one. Clear? So like this we can solve few more questions in our further videos. Okay, for many updates, okay, be concentrated on our channel. Thank you.